vote. So with that being said, I didn't see who got me on the vote. Oh, that's it. Good for you. Question number 1. Do you think that there are adequate job descriptions for all city employees?
Alex, do you want us to do our intros first?
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
Everybody look at it.
No, I'm getting off trail. Okay, want to there? Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, we're gonna have each of the candidates introduce themselves and why they're running. Right?
Well, we're gonna have some people around. I won't go bring
Well, she can use this mic.
it.
She can still use the mic. Yeah.
Sure, big Clark up here. See how easy it is. I thank you for coming tonight. I really appreciate your attendance. I want to thank Scott Bell for moderating, Supervisor Bell, and Tina for organizing the event tonight. Each of the candidates tonight have their reasons for running for city council. My reason is simple. I believe that every citizen in every community has a duty and a right to be involved. I was born here in Oakland, raised in California. My bachelor's degree is in recreation administration from Sacramento State. I hold a teaching credential from San Jose State. I moved back to Oakland 15 years ago. Since then, I've been heavily involved in the community. Currently, I'm an elected city council member, active member of PEO, the Carson Oakland Federated Club, volunteer at the Dream Theater, secretary of the museum, and the city's representative to both the library and lighted boards. Past membership and committee involvement include Lions Club, TCM Mothers Club, the Eagle Statue Project, pool renovation, 4th of July celebrations, and the Gristmill Board of Directors. My husband Gene and I have been married 46 years, have 2 children, and 3 grandchildren. We are active parishioners at Our Lady of Grace Church in Griswold. For 11 years, I managed the Oakland Senior Center, but due to a kidney disease and ultimate kidney transplant 4 months ago, I am now assistant manager at the Senior Center. Financially conservative by nature, I carry this trait to City Council. I am well aware of the hardworking families and retired senior citizens to allocate taxpayers' dollars wisely and prudently. I also know to keep our younger population from moving elsewhere, to attract families to our town, and to keep our senior citizens active and involved, we must, as a city and a community, work together to provide needed services, foster entrepreneurial leadership, and increase our recreational opportunities. Being on City Council these past 4 years, I'm very proud of our accomplishments. Working with Omatel to bring fiber optics to Oakland, helping to revitalize downtown by seeing the addition of Tunick and Burnham Electric, expanding our water treatment system, adding a new water well, the additions of a business park by Oakland Foods, repairing Gates, Pullen, and Pioneer Streets, repaving Brown Street, adding gutters and curbs, working with the Industrial Foundation to tear down blighted homes and houses and build new homes, working with the library board to introduce technology and upgrade the library system, and supporting the fire department, senior center, and golf course. My attendance at council meetings has been 95% over the past 4 years. There's a lot to be said for younger people getting involved in city government, bringing their energy and ideas. I also think it is a lot to be said for experience, stability, and conservative fiscal management. All of us have 3 choices in life. We can give up, give in, or give it all we've got. And when re-elected these next 4 years, I promise to do what I've always done and give it all I've got. Thank you, and God bless you for coming tonight.
Five minutes, you don't have to do the whole lot.
Okay. I will. Okay.
That's enough. that's it.
I am Coralie Bernard, and I have lived in Oakland a little over 4 years. My husband and I moved here from Utah, and we originally came, my husband got a job teaching computer technology at Iowa Western. That's what originally brought us to Oakland. We wanted to live outside of the city, and so we felt that this small town was great for raising our 5 children. So we have been here. I currently substitute teach in the school district, so many of your children or grandchildren I probably have in the classes that I teach. I have a bachelor's and a master's degree. My master's degree is in public administration from Brigham Young University, and I have always had an interest in local government and have been involved in my communities that I've lived in. I've been working at home with my 5 kids, so I feel that I'm now in a position that I can contribute a little bit more and give back. And so I feel that my background and my skills and my education is something that I can contribute to the city council, which is my motivation for running. I wanted to focus on, I have a lot of this information on my Facebook page, but I wanted to focus on 3 things that I feel like I could contribute to the city council. First, I feel that I'm selective in the things that I choose to participate in because I know my time is limited and my family is important to me, so I haven't fully committed to a lot of things. But I feel like city council is one thing that I could fully commit to, and so I commit that I would be able to devote my time and attention to serve as a city council member. Second, I believe that my master's degree in public administration will help me with the education and the background of finance and budgeting and nonprofit administration, grant writing, all of those skills that would be needed on a city council to share that I have, as well as having a network of colleagues that I can call on. I have a number of colleagues that are working in different positions in local government that in preparing for this, I was able to reach out to them and ask them their opinion on certain issues that Oakland is facing right now. And I know that Oakland is unique, but I also feel like best practices that are used in other communities could be implemented here. And third, I feel that I do my research, and I feel like I keep an open mind and I try to look at both sides and to talk to as many people as possible to be able to come to the best conclusion. And I feel like the more information we can gather, the better decisions that we can make. In conclusion, I believe that I can devote my time, that I can provide networking opportunities that I have, and be able to help Oakland continue on the path to strive for improvement, but also to continue on the path that it is on. There's so many good things that are going on right now. So thank you for your time.
Sorry, I have a scratchy voice here, so, I'm better on paper than I'm in person, so if I stutter, I'm sorry. Feel a little, anyways. So that was a hard follow-up. Betsy did a really good job as a seasoned member of the community and city council. It was really great listening to her speak and see what she has to say and what she's done. I've learned a lot from every one of the members of the community, as well as this panel here. A lot in the last 2 weeks, so I've made a lot of connections, much more so than I have in the last 6 years I moved here. So let's back up, I'm sorry. I'm Tina Trahota, and I'm also running for the city council because I feel like it's my home. This is where we've made our home in the last 6 years. My husband moved into Iowa after he got out of the Navy. We've known each other since we were little kids, 13 and 15 in Soresko, Nebraska, where his family still lives and my grandma still lives. It's a small town. If any of you are familiar with Lincoln, Nebraska, or heard of Bernie's and Soresko, that's where we're from. That's the area where we're from. It's a small town about the same size as Oakland here. So this is very common here. We just feel really comfortable in this area, the size of the community. So my bachelor's of science is in agriculture. I studied at the University of Nebraska, Lincoln. I also have an associate's degree from Southeast Community College, where I studied hands-on agriculture with animal science and agribusiness. I spent an extensive amount of time in my college career studying overseas in Africa and South America, as well as lots of travels to countries of Central America, like Costa Rica, and I spent some time in Europe. So my diversity of experience, I feel like I ingrain myself into the world because I want to understand it. I want to be able to connect and to connect with things around me. I did not become involved with this community very much until about a year ago when our youngest, who is 3, we have 3 children, 9, 4, and 3, and our 3-year-old is, I feel like, at a stage here where I can start becoming more involved. I can start getting better connected with the community, and I can give more. One thing about me is when I do put my all into something, I put my all. I don't just do anything halfway. I mean, if I plant a garden, it's going to be extravagant. If I throw an event or a party, I wanted to make sure it's executed in a way that's going to be done right, and it's done fair, and it's going to be done with everything kept in mind. So that's just something to say about my personality, what I would bring to city council as, how I would consider things that are brought up. Critical thinking is important to me. I like to take things into perspective. I like to use logic and with good reason. It's not just to connect about an emotional thing, but you gotta learn how to separate them. That's what I do. I try to separate as much emotion as I can when I do my decisions, and I try to use an approach that is very logical so I can execute that and make sure that it's done right, and I'm comfortable with that end result. Sorry, I do have to apologize because I feel like my speech wasn't well prepared. I kind of got a little heavily involved in making sure that everything else was rounded up here for everybody because I thought this was so important for everyone else and for you guys to be able to allow each one of us to come up here and tell you about ourselves. So most of us have Facebook pages, and I did post a full bio on there. You guys can read more about me and my background in the newspaper article that comes out next week. I feel, like I said, I'm better on paper than I am in person sometimes, and city council would be a really great way for me to strengthen that. I also felt like I've gained a lot of personal advancements by just participating in this election and running for council. I have grown a lot. One of the other things that I feel like is important is that for the last 8 months, I have been attending city council member meetings regularly. I can tell you that I think maybe I'm the only citizen I know that's actually been at every council meeting for probably since March or and whatnot, and I've attended a few before that. I also became a volunteer with the Chamber of Commerce. I've been helping them out when I can. I'm there if they want to call me and ask me to do something. I've been helping out. So my involvement in the community has grown a lot in the last few months, and I just wish to find more things to do to connect. I'm an entrepreneur and a small business owner here, so economic development is important to me. I would like to see ways to bring jobs to Oakland, and I feel like we have a community here that is ready to move forward and ready to make those big strides, increase the morale around the community, and give us what we're made to do. I know there's a lot of communities around here that people compare to and whatnot, and I think that we could be one of the things I've heard from outsiders is, oh, they've got a lot of potential. Well, I would like to take the potential and take it to the next level and make us that community that people talk about, that community that people come to for events, and we bring outsiders in for our events that they're bringing business here for us so that we can thrive and we can just improve our community for our children and everyone else. Thank you very much, and I am too long, right?
No.
To follow, but for those of you that don't know me, I'm Courtney Turner. A little bit of background about me: I graduated from Riverside in 2000, and I now live in Oakland. I consider myself a Carson girl. Sorry to tell you that, but I did move here 13 years ago. I now work at Oakland Manor doing marketing and the administrator. And I got involved in the Chamber of Commerce. My kids are here tonight, and I also do Cobra Kids. I'm a leader in 4-H. So what I like most about City Council is being a leader in our community. Being a leader isn't easy. I look around at all your faces, and you're all leaders for different reasons. And the people that I'm sitting up here with are leaders for different reasons. For me, what stands out is somebody who's immersed in their community, somebody who's willing to put their neck out. It's awkward, right? Because being a leader means sometimes you make mistakes, sometimes you say things that make people uncomfortable, and you have to do things that push the envelope. That's something I'm not afraid to do, and doing it for the right reasons. And two, at the end of the day, it's about continuing the legacy of the people in our town. That's something that's important to me, because when I am at work, when I'm at home, when I look at my kids, we're all immersed in this community. It's super important, and that's something that I want to continue doing. So thank you for being here tonight.
My name is Doug Reed. I have a fear of podiums, so good evening. Hey, it's great to see everybody out here, and thanks for everybody for being up here and running for city council. It's great to have choices because this is the kind of opportunities and what our entire national system of government is founded on. The people deciding who gets to represent them to conduct their business. And personally, I feel the local level government on a city council is a lot more important because this is the direct relationship to where we live in our houses. This is a direct line right to our pocketbooks. So the decisions that are made in city councils have a huge impact on what we do, how we raise our children, how we budget, everything. So it's really important that we have solid leadership at the local level. We can see all the fun things they sometimes like to do at the state and federal level, but really right down here in the decisions that get made at this level have a lot of impact on our daily lives. And that's why I feel it's so important. A little about my background. I was born here in Oakland, and through some family moves and stuff, I went to school in Carson, Macedonia. Growing up, I graduated in '93, so the last year that our communities were separated by school district before they became Riverside. As a 17-year-old senior in high school, I enlisted in the United States Army. Went off and did a tour of active duty with the Army, and then a couple years with the National Guard. There was never any doubt in my mind where I wanted to move back to when I decided that it was time to move on to something else. And I came back here and bought a house in Oakland. And that's where I've stayed and raised my family. I've got a beautiful wife and 3 children, a senior, a freshman, and a 6th grader. So we've got them split out just so college tuition bills never end for us. So that's going to be great. Pretty not so good planning on that part. So in the community, I've served on the fire department for over a decade, responded to some of our incidents. I've also been a coach for our youth sports and now our JV and varsity sports here in the Riverside School District. I have also been in public service, which is one of the biggest things that I can bring to the table in this election is my 26 years of combined experience in professional volunteer public service. Since I've been in high school and got in the Army, those are the jobs I've had in the different places, whether it's been entry level in government service or now at the administrative level as your county's emergency management homeland security director. A lot of experience I've gained in that position are being able to make tough choices, sometimes on short notice, and trying to do the greatest amount of good for the greatest amount of people. And that directly relates to the work that the city council has to do when we're deciding how to spend your money. There's a lot of things that face and challenge rural communities today in Iowa, and none of these decisions can be taken lightly. So when we get into opportunities to talk about infrastructure and housing and development and how we support our nonprofits and our community organizations and our schools, it's all important because every one of those decisions leads back to one place, and it leads back to your pocketbooks. So it's important that we're not here trying to drive things, but we're doing and fulfilling our duties as council people based on how our representative government's set up. Not me sitting somewhere deciding what's best for everybody, but me listening to the people that elected me to represent them. And that's what I can bring to the table with my experience. Thanks for coming tonight.
Hello, citizens of Oakland. My name is Kelly Town. I've been a resident of Oakland since 2007. My husband Dan, our son Perrin, and I live on Glass Street. Perrin attends 5th grade at Riverside. I was born and raised in Southwest Iowa. I graduated from Trainer, although most people who know me well enough don't hold that against me anymore. I graduated from Northwest Missouri State, go Bearcats, with my Bachelor of Arts in Spanish and Speech Communication. I returned 16 years later to earn my master's in Business Administration and Human Resource Management. I graduated in August and get to walk in December. I
became an ordained officiant in 2004, and I performed nearly 100 weddings. I just booked my 100th wedding yesterday, so I was pretty excited about that. I built my company, Your Wedding, Your Way, through grassroots marketing and word of mouth. I've also worked in home visitation and family support for over 13 years. I primarily do home visitation work with primarily Spanish-speaking families. So I go into the home, do developmental screenings, link them with resources. I've been certified as a child passenger safety technician, a senior checker, earned my family development certification, and I'm a trainer for immigration advocacy. I've worked tirelessly to support families in our communities throughout a variety of hurdles, to assist parents in finding their voice and enable them to participate in their child's education and in their communities. In 2016, I was awarded the Iowa Family Support Professional of the Year, and I've presented at 3 national conferences about the work I do with families. When we purchased our home on Glass Street 12 years ago, we were greeted with open arms in the community. We slowly became involved more in the community, attending events, meeting new people. As Karen grew up, we met even more people through school, through sports, and we put down roots here. We volunteered as a coach for youth sports. I've had the opportunity to volunteer here in this very building as an interpreter for parent-teacher conferences, and I participated in events at Impact Hill. My grandfather, Ken Keeler, was elected as a write-in candidate and served 4 terms as a mayor and trainer. And my uncle is the current trainer mayor. I've always felt the calling to serve in local government and to give back to my community in any way possible. I feel that I would bring a varied and unique perspective to the Oakland City Council. I am an adopted citizen of Oakland, a small business owner, a tireless advocate, and well-versed in the resources of our county. I have experience with grant writing, which would bring money into our community and support projects we need to encourage others to buy goods and services locally, move businesses here, purchase homes, enroll in Riverside schools, and put down their roots here as well. I cannot promise to know everything or to hit the ground running, but I can promise to listen and learn. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Jeremy Perkins. I've been a resident of Oakland for the past 42 years. I just turned 42 2 weeks ago, so I've been here all my life. So a little bit about my wife Jennifer, who's a TLC coordinator at Riverside. 2 kids. My son Keaton's a freshman. My daughter Casey's 5th grade with Perrin. They've actually played several sports together. I've been a youth coach sports for pretty much 11 months out of the year, multiple sports for the last 9 years. I've been president of the Riverside Youth Sports Association for the past 6 years. Previous to that, I was on the board of the country club, where I served as president. The last 2 years I was there. I left that because in 2013, I was asked to come to the Oakland City Council. So I moved off the country club board to the city council. At that time, I had no idea what I was getting into, but I wanted to give it a try, and I've got to be honest, I absolutely love being on the city council. One reason I love being on the city council, it's not a political position. I don't want anything to do with politics, and not one time in any meeting I've had, we've had a political discussion. The discussions are rational. Even if we disagree, we talk through it, and we work through it, and we come to the vote that's the best for the citizens of Oakland. We'll never make everybody happy. Every decision, some decision is going to make one person happy, the next decision is going to make that person who's happy about this decision upset about this decision. But we have to do what's best for the citizens of Oakland, and that's what I'm doing. The reason I live in Oakland, and I know a lot of people talk about how they live in Oakland, they work in Oakland, and I've heard a lot of comments, we want people to live here and work here. I'm an IT project manager. There's not a lot of call for that in Oakland, Iowa. I drive 100 miles round trip to West Omaha every day for work. move out there is because I want to be here and I want to raise my kids. here. My wife wants to teach. So that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm here.
Wow, you guys got some great people that are wanting to be engaged in your community. The humility of these people up here is amazing. I mean, not one of them asked for your vote, which is amazing out of candidates that usually the first thing or the last thing they ask for your vote. At least the last thing they're gonna do is ask for your vote. So I think you have a great team of candidates here. I guess for my own sake, who's running for 4 years? Raise your hand. Okay, so 5 of them are running for 4, and then the 2 left are running for the 2 years. You guys don't want to be all in. I'm up for 4 years. What's up with that?
2 years is all they can handle.
Okay, so we're gonna do these 3 questions. And I think we have time at the end. We may have a closing remark from each of the members too. So they'll get, let's see, 1 to 2 minutes. Is that what we decided on? Okay, for these questions. So some of these questions aren't probably real easy to answer in 2 minutes, but. Okay, yeah. I'd be happy to do that. So, we asked the community for questions, and we got about 30 questions, maybe just 32, whatever, it was pretty right around that number. And so, to make them fair to everybody up here, some of the questions, I would say, were pointed specifically at a candidate, or the current council, or directed at a certain issue. We formulated these questions to be pretty much more generic and combining, 5 of the 30 into one question, and another 10 of the other question into the second question, and then the last question, we just let everybody say what are the 3 focus areas they want to focus on in the community this year. So it wasn't, none of the candidates submitted a question, I don't know if they did, but like I said, I will make available, or we'll make available the
Right, I'll send you a copy.
30 questions. If anybody wants to read, if you want to read them, Mayor, if you want to read them, you got it. Okay. If you want to read them, Mayor, or any of the council members want to read the 30 questions, they're more than happy to read them. Or anybody else wants to read them.
I have them here, I can lay them out.
Yeah.
We can lay
If
them
they
out.
want, I brought a couple copies, but that's how the questions were formulated. We try to be cognizant of your time tonight. Really, again, thank you for all coming out tonight, because it's it's a busy time for a lot of people, and to come and it takes a lot of passion to run, and then to be involved in your community. It's great to have this kind of turnout. So we're going to start with question number 1. So whoever's number 1 will answer that first, and then we'll number 2 will go next, and we'll follow that same order, which is question number 1. And so question number 1, do you think there are adequate job descriptions for all city employees, and would you support a wage and compensation study? You don't have to use your 2 minutes if you don't want to.
Number 1, job descriptions are available at City Hall by request. I have them here, if anybody wants to take a look at them after this portion of the evening. Number 2, they are current, they are up to date. The latest ones are Chris, who was now Public Works Assistant, and Brayton Moore, that was hired just this year. So those were the latest 2 to be updated. Number 3 point. Absolutely, I would encourage a wage and comprehensive study. Now, I did this on my own a few years ago when I was on city council. And what I did is I randomly selected 20 towns across the state of Iowa that have comparable populations to Oakland. And what I found is that, I talked to mayors and city clerks on this. So what I found is that each city's job descriptions vary because each city is different. No one size fits all like socks or shoes come to be sometimes. So I found that Oakland has a very and comprehensive job description for our employees. They're very well trained, and what's really unique about our town is that we have fewer employees than a lot of towns our size. They can do a multitude of work in town, therefore we save taxpayers money. And they're also very well cross-trained. So if one is out sick on vacation, another one can step in and do the job seamlessly.
Good. Just so that you all know, if I start moving out this way, you're down to your last 10 seconds.
Okay, I also got a copy of the job descriptions from Marissa at City Hall and looked at them. The two that seemed to be not up to date were those that people have been in those positions for a long time. So the Public Works Director, because that last time it was posted, I believe was August of 98. So it looks, I mean, it may have been updated, but at least on the bottom it said last updated was August of 98. That's probably when it was last posted. And then the one for the city clerk and finance officer was December of 06. So I do agree that they do need to be updated periodically. Obviously, when you're going to post them, that's usually when you update them. So with only having so few employees, they don't probably need to be updated as much. But and from the quick research that I was able to gather, usually an internal wage and compensation study should happen every 3 to 5 years. Obviously, if that were to be outsourced, that would cost money. And with having so few employees, that probably wouldn't be cost effective, but having a council member that's willing to do that internally and do the research, I'm sure helped to be able to compare. And at least from what I heard that Marissa said, that from the information that was gathered, that they determined that there wasn't, that we were comparable and there weren't recommendations for